a little bit early, and like I said, when we come back, we're going to be joined by David Elder from Strikehard MMA, as well as MMA fighter and former member of the Alabama Crimson Tide, Eric Anders, and a number of the fighters scheduled to join us on the Strikehard 20 show next Saturday night in Birmingham. And we'll be back on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network right after this. On what has been a beautiful Sunday night, the music plays, the microphones go hot, and we are live from the Full Range Entertainment Studios in beautiful Birmingham, Alabama. This is Beyond Ringside. The Magic City Motor Mouth Fast Eddie Layne, running about 35% of normal right now. Just bear with me, kids. I'm actually the one who gets away with using NyQuil during the daytime right now. Like to welcome in tag team partner Mark Mabo. How you doing, buddy?
I got like this. I don't know if it's a zit or what, but it's like almost near my taint, but it's like right on the fleshy part because I got fleshy thighs, inner thighs, and it hurts so much and I want to squeeze it, but every time I squeeze it, it doesn't pop. It's like this stuff oozes out.
Mabo,
can you come over and lance it for me?
That would be a no. Like to welcome in tag team partner the Wicked Nemesis.
We answer for your transgressions, and I believe Saturday night quite a few gentlemen will answer for their transgressions.
Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who caught the broadcast last week, we were joined by the matchmaker of Strikehard Productions Mixed Martial Arts, and like to welcome him back at this time, David Elder. Welcome back into Beyond Ringside.
Hey, glad to be back. 2 weeks in a row.
And folks, it is Saturday night, December the 8th, in Birmingham, Alabama. Strikehard 20 will be at the Zamora Shrine Temple. And one of the gentlemen who is very prominently featured on this event, I would like to welcome in at this time, Eric Anders. Welcome to Beyond Ringside. Glad to have you on board.
I appreciate y'all having me.
And pardon me while I mark out for a second and say, roll tide, brother.
Roll tide, roll.
I said I wasn't going to ask it, but I'm going to ask it anyway. How'd you like the game last night?
That was a classic SEC game. Score a little bit more points than the usual grudge match, but I really liked the way both teams were physical and how the game. No one ran away with it. Alabama was down, came back. Georgia was down, came back, and how it just came down to the last play.
The simile has been put into play on so many occasions over the last 24 hours that this was going to be, this has been, and this was a true heavyweight slugfest between two great teams in the SEC and two of the greatest teams in the country. Now, you are no stranger in this day and time to slugfest of your own, having made the move from the gridiron, where you were a member of the Alabama Crimson Tide football team, and now very prominently featured inside the mixed martial arts cage. How has that transition been for you?
It's been a fun transition. Unfortunately, a lot of the movements and footwork and anything like that goes into mixed martial arts. Football is more of a rigid sport, and MMA is more of a smooth, technical type sport. So that's been the hardest transition, is to get my body to move like I wanted to with my footwork and things like that.
What drew you, if I could ask, to the world of mixed martial arts coming directly out of football? Was it first off just the factor of really being able to hit somebody and get away with it without a yellow flag being tossed your way?
Nah, I'm not really an aggressive type person. I just don't go out looking for fights, but after I finished playing football, I kind of felt the need that I still wanted to compete, and I tried to just come home and sit down, come home from work and sit down and just watch TV or do whatever, but that's just not me. I can't do it, so I had to get into something.
Now, as it stands right now, you are standing at 6-2 in your record. I've had a chance to watch you on a couple of different fights around the state of Alabama. First off, great to catch you inside the cage. Dude, you've been coming along so smooth. And this coming Saturday night, You are going to be featured on Strikehard 20. And I hope I pronounce his name right, or both of you will probably kill me. I believe it's Matt Castaneda.
That is correct.
And how much have you had a chance to do homework on Matt?
I've seen one of his fights, and from the fight I saw, he's a really aggressive, tough guy who can take a hit. And these are the kind of fights I like. I don't want to fight a guy who, I breathe on him and he falls down. I like these tough opponents who really give me a run for my money and really challenge me because, once again, that's the whole purpose I'm doing this.
Now, if I could, what has been one of the things in particular that has been your favorite thing about the transition as far as the training of the different styles of mixed martial arts?
If football is a team sport, so if we lose a game, damn, AJ threw a pick or somebody didn't cover the right guy and they blew a coverage, I can't blame anybody. If I go in there and I lose, the only person to blame is the guy in the mirror, and I really like that about mixed martial arts.
I'm going to go ahead and ask my tag team partners if they'd like to come in for a second. Mabo, do you have a question for Eric Anders or David Elder?
Yes. Eric, hello. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. And yourself?
I'm doing fine. Let me ask you something. Could you, in the octagon, fight a man made of mashed potatoes, knowing that you would kill him and leave his mashed potato wife and child orphans and husbandless? Could you legitimately do that with a clear conscience?
If I went into a fight and the guy died, like, if he looked good on film, I wouldn't fight a dude I just thought I was going to roll over, so. But if it happened, I think I'd be okay with it. Well, not okay with it, but I don't know. That's kind of a tough situation.
And I think I'm safe in answering for Eric on this part also. It would depend on whether or not it was Hungry Jack mashed potatoes, if it was real mashed potatoes from real potatoes, or if it was a generic store brand. So,
it would be real mashed potatoes made from real potatoes.
Wicked Nemesis, you have a question for Eric Anders or David Elder?
Well, guys, it usually seems that the natural progression from a wrestler into mixed martial arts is a given. Being someone, to be able to go on the ground and take down. But right off the top of my head, only Herschel Walker has been a predominant mostly football player that has been successfully able to make the progression to mixed martial arts. Do you think maybe this sticks you in behind the eight ball, so to speak, was going up against a lot of guys that are boxers and have done karate, have done, because you make the progression from football to mixed martial arts?
Well, I wrestled in high school, so, I'm picking the wrestling aspect part of it up pretty well. So, if it goes to the ground, I'm pretty comfortable right there. And, I'm just an amateur right now, so it's not like I'm going against guys who are, former championship boxers or anything like that. I think I fought a guy who was a Golden Gloves boxer, but once again, that's still amateur boxing. And so, I really haven't been put to the test by a world-class caliber type fighter. So, I feel like I've done pretty well against the boxers and the wrestlers that I've gone against so far. So, as I move up in the ranks and, take on tougher opponents in different states and skill levels, then, all that will tell itself.
Now, taking the wrestling into consideration, how do you classify your style more than anything else? Because you have those who are genuine stand-up strikers, you have those who are very much ground and pound or ground-oriented, and then you have some who make the range into the realm of more of a varied MMA or martial arts disciplines. How would you classify your own personal style?
I would say I don't have a style because I honestly I feel like the ground is the best thing that I do. And but these last couple fights, I really wasn't comfortable standing up, so all my fights were in on the ground. But these last couple fights I've had, I forced myself to stand up and maybe fight them just so I get the experience of standing up, and I can actually get better at it. So, I would say I adapt to the fight more than just coming there, okay, I'm a boxer. The only person I ever did that with was my very last fight against Chase Horton. And that's because he's like a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, and he's got awesome jiu-jitsu, and I knew that coming into the fight. So my whole game plan with him was to stand up with him and to go to the ground, let him up. Other than that, that's the only fight I've ever game planned for, so to speak.
Now, this is one other one that comes into my mind, having been in different realms as far as being in the public eye, just like you yourself have been in different realms of the public eye. Whether it be in high school athletics, you have the variances as far as the crowd interaction, especially the crowd noise. When you're on the gridiron and when you were playing for the University of Alabama, of course you had the crowd noise and you were in friendly and hostile environments. Do you find that you're able to, when you make the move into mixed martial arts, as your amateur career has been progressing, are you able to channel that energy coming directly from the crowd itself? Do you try to tune it out and concentrate primarily on your opponent, or how do you play that with the crowds?
The only person's voice I'm listening to is my coach in the corner. All that other stuff, I really don't too much hear it, honestly. I just be listening for that one voice, and that's all I can listen to, and that's all I hear. Except, when that ref pull you off of a guy, that's kind of when you snap back into reality, It's
almost like going into that pure zone where you've got one thing only, and that's trying to get the win either by knockout, by tap out, or any other way that you can get it, right?
Absolutely.
Now, I have what I refer to as promo mode here on the show, and what we'll do is we'll ask some of our dignitaries, especially when they're getting ready to go into a big fight environment, knowing like I'll try it again, the event coming up with Mr. Castaneda this coming Saturday night in Birmingham. If there is a direct message from Eric Anders that you would like to lay out there, first off, to the fans of Strikehard Productions who are making their way toward Birmingham this coming Saturday night, and then of course a direct message to Matt, what would those be from Eric Anders?
As far as the fans go, I appreciate y'all coming out, supporting me, my team, Champions Freestyle MMA, Mavericks MMA, and Strikehard. It's a great organization. They really do put on quality fights, and it's a pleasure fighting for them. It's been my second time, and hopefully it won't be the last. And as for Matt, I appreciate you coming all this way to make this fight. It's getting kind of difficult out here for me to find fights. I appreciate you making the drive, and looking forward to it. And no hard feelings. Just it is what it is.
Eric, I want to thank you for taking the time to come on with us this evening. It has been great to finally get a chance to speak with you. Like I said, I've actually, on a couple of different shows, been either doing play-by-play commentary or actually ring announcing, and it's great to finally be able to have a chance to speak with you, because I know on event dates, like I said, you're in that zone and you're trying to get ready for your fight, so I try to stay back and not interrupt. But to finally get a chance to have you here on Beyond Ringside, of course, with myself, Mabo, and Wicked, it's a great pleasure, and hope to have you come back on again sometime.
Hey, appreciate it. I'd love to.
You got a deal. Ladies and gentlemen, Eric Anders right here on Beyond Ringside. Tremendous. Thank you again for coming on.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
Thank you. David, you've got so many fights lined up. Now, when we spoke last week, you said that the overall event, it was going to have 18 fights. I believe off air you said that there was one that had to change. So we're looking at 17 fights coming up on the 8th, right?
That's right. At least 17.
And there's always a possibility for more, right?
There's a possibility we may get that 18th fight back in. It just, we had somebody broke a foot, and so we don't know whether we're going to get a replacement or the fight will have to be canceled on that. But we will have 17, 18 fights on there. So
okay. Let me go ahead and say I've got area code 678 coming on. I didn't have a chance to catch the number. Who have I got with me right now?
This is Gerald Colbert.
Greetings. Welcome into Beyond Ringside. How you doing?
I'm doing awesome, man.
David, I'm going to ask you to go and take the setup if I could.
Hey, Gerald. How are you doing, brother?
I'm awesome, man.
Man, we're glad to have you on here. And for those of you that don't know, Gerald Colbert is a high school, or was a high school state champion wrestler at 117 pounds. And he's going to be fighting for the first ever 125 title from Strikehard at Strikehard 20 in Birmingham next weekend. And he's fighting another state champion wrestler in Aaron Quaid out of South Georgia. So this is going to be one for the year for sure in the 125-pound weight division. What have you been doing for getting ready for this fight, Gerald?
Man, I've been doing a lot of cardio. I've been doing like
I've been doing like a lot of upper body stuff, lower body stuff. I've been working on my jits because I'm not as strong as my jits as my wrestling is. And man, I'm just ready to throw down with this guy. I'm just sick and tired of hearing about him, man.
Well, there's a lot of excellent MMA fighter in Ace Samples, back in the summer in Strikehard, and he's known for having great striking. He was the Georgia State champion. You put him on his back, held him down for 3 rounds, and it had some dynamic slams in that match, if I recall right.
Yes, sir.
And Gerald,
So,
go ahead.
Yeah, what do we expect to see with you and Aaron?
I'd rather do more stand-up with Aaron. I want to show people what I'm really made of. Instead of showing, like, my wrestling background, which everybody knows about me, I want to, like, stand up and bang with him a little bit. Then if I have to take him down, just slam him real hard and stuff, you know what I'm saying?
Now, Gerald, if I may, for those who haven't had a chance to find out about you, the dojo that you currently train out of, which one is it?
I'm starting to train with Relentless, but I've been kind of bouncing around though, because money-wise and stuff like that, they're kind of having it hard. So I'm Relentless gonna have my back this weekend and stuff like that, So.
And I can understand. Say it one more time, please.
Relentless MMA.
Okay, because you were starting to say something else, and I ended up speaking over you, and I apologize for that. It's when you're trying to get ready for an event such as this, and you've had an opportunity to face varying styles of opponents, and you have your background. David made the reference to the fact that you're a former state champion, and that you're going to be going for the 125 title with Strikehard this coming Saturday night, December the 8th, in Birmingham, Alabama, at the Zamora Shrine Temple. By the way, before I go any further, David, tickets are available how?
Yeah, you can go on. A lot of these fighters have tickets, so if you know these fighters, you can go get your tickets from them. But Facebook, go to Facebook on Strikehard Productions Facebook page. We have an event page for Strikehard 20. You can go on and purchase your tickets online right there.
Now, Gerald, first off, like I said, we're a lot of people are still trying to get to know some of the fighters who are going to be appearing this coming Saturday night in Birmingham. Give everybody a little bit more of the background on you yourself, of course, the state championship run you had, and then making the move into MMA in the amateur style.
Well, like I said, I'm a 125 fighter, and I don't know how a lot of other guys that's been on these previous shows, though, because this sport is so new for me, and I'm still learning as I go, and I just want to be the best fighter I can be.
Okay. As far as athletics go, what's your background?
I'm a wrestler.
Okay. And what school did you wrestle for?
I went to Walker High School, and I was actually a 112 state champion.
Now, how have you found the question, of course, on the table? How have you made the transition from high school wrestling into the world of mixed martial arts?
Man, it's really tough. I started as a wrestler in high school, and I'm just trying to work on my other skills because I want to be an all-around fighter, not a one kind of fighter. You know what I'm saying? I want to be well balanced. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
My boxing been coming along because I have been going to scout boxing, and man, I feel tremendous about this next coming fight.
Hey, folks, do me a favor. We are going to take a quick commercial break, and we are going to be back with some of the fighters from Strikehard Productions, Strikehard 20, right here on Beyond Ringside. Stay tuned. You know, there are times when I wish we could play everything that goes on off air, on air. And one of these days, we may just break the wall down and actually do it. Welcome back in Beyond Ringside Live on a Sunday night. Fast Eddie Layne being rejoined. Mark Bowman, come on back. Maybo, where you at?
I was there until something went crackle, splippity, spook, flop.
There you go. Wicked Nemesis, come on back.
Mama said knock you out.
And they're going to be... I actually had that music somewhere around here. I think I should be playing that for the underbed right now. David Elder with Strikehard Productions. Come on back in.
I'm here.
This is an all-star night and then some. First off, I want to say thank you to Caprice Coleman and Cedric Alexander. I believe Mabo and Wicked said it earlier. This is actually the first time during our first hour this evening that we had a interview take place as they're getting ready to go to the ring. So we may, I think we might have just said a little bit of a historic note for Beyond Ringside on that one. We've got a number of the fighters who are featured on this coming Saturday night, Strikehard Productions, Strikehard 20, that is going to be live from the Zamora Shrine Temple in Birmingham, Alabama on Ratliff Road. Check out Strikehard Productions on Facebook, and of course, taking place as part of Strikehard 20, it is going to be for the Strikehard Productions 205 Amateur Championship. And we have both of the fighters here on Beyond Ringside. They talk about the weigh-ins being fun. This could actually get even more fun. I'd like to welcome in Malcolm Hardman. Malcolm, how you doing tonight?
Somebody's got a lot of feedback.
Area code 205-246. Who have I got?
That's me. It's Robert Thompson, man.
Hey, Robert, how you doing? Do me a favor. Let me ask you to mute your phone for just a couple minutes, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Malcolm, come on in.
How you doing there, sir?
Doing what? Please, just call me Eddie. I'm not sir. I will never profess to that word in any day of the week. And I just messed up my Skype system. Hold on, bear with me. Okay, from this vantage point, we are also welcoming in the person that you're going to be facing this Saturday night in Birmingham, in Brian Lewis. Brian, come on in.
What's going on, man?
Championship on the line. Amateur championship is still a championship all the way across the board. There is pride, there is prestige, and it is absolutely great to have both of y'all on. David, do me a favor. Let me ask you to go and take point for just a minute, okay?
Okay, man, I tell you, this is like setting up, a weigh-in or something. It's just a little nerve-wracking for us. We are honored to have both of you guys fighting at Strikehard 20. And Brian Lewis has fought for us before, and his fight's actually on our Facebook right now. If you pull up Strikehard Productions Facebook, I think it lasted about 7 seconds, somewhere in that range, and he had a big knockout. But these are two of the biggest 205 heavyweights we have in the state right now, and this is a pro-am event, and this is definitely the biggest fight that we have on our amateur side. What have you guys been doing to get prepared for this title fight?
Brian, we'll go to you first.
Oh, man, first and foremost, man, shout out to Strikeoff for having me fight for them again, man. I love y'all guys. But what I've been doing to get ready for the fight is basically everything I always do. I train every day. I don't have a different thing I'm doing to get ready for the fight, but I train every day. That's what I've been doing, man. Just, and having fun, man. I have fun in the gym. That's what I'm into.
Malcolm?
Personally, cardio. A lot of cardio. Just like Cupcake, I train every day. It should turn out to be a great fight. I'm really looking forward to it. And should be a pretty good night.
What's your predictions? Where do you want to see this fight go? Standing up or on the ground?
I personally think it's definitely going to stay up. I think we're both strikers.
Well, that's what the fans seem to really love is two big guys banging it out in the middle of the cage, and that's what we get with these two guys. So for a matchmaker, it's a dream come true. We really appreciate you guys being here.
I can definitely believe that one. I mean, because when you've got a situation where it's definitely going to be to see who. It's been chaotic. Now, I'm going to go ahead and play the card. I wasn't going to do it, but I'm going to go ahead and do it. Mabo, of course, I believe you're now taking a vested interest in this situation due to the factor of Brian's nickname, right? Or did we lose Bowman? You there?
I'm sorry?
Mabo, Mark Bowman.
Who's that?
Somebody just I guess one of the other people on the card just tried to call in. We've got a stacked phone bank right now, and we're trying to get everybody in play as quickly as possible. So, like I know. Since Mabo didn't take point on that particular part, Brian, I'm gonna ask you to go ahead and lay out the nickname that Mabo's gone bat nuts over.
All right, that's what's good, man. My name is Brian Cupcake Lewis. If you don't know me, man, you know that's my nickname. You know, I'm giving you the cake, Cupcake, man. You can holler at me. Yeah, man. You know, hey, it's a good nickname. Everybody seems to like it. You know, the ladies like it. Everybody like it.
Well, gentlemen, tell you what, I'm going to give you a chance to lay out a couple of quick comments. Number one, I know everybody loves to give shout-outs to the dojos. Brian, where are you training at?
Training up at Maverick Training Center up in Huntsville, Alabama, man. Hey, man, so shout out to Van Ransom, Helio Seneca. Shout out to my boxing coach, Jeff T. Shout out to the guys down at Champions, down in Birmingham, helping me get in work as well. We have the guys too, man. So I get work where I can, you know. But I train out of Maverick Training Center out of Huntsville, Alabama, man. It's the best school in the world right there, baby.
Malcolm, come on in.
I train up in Auburn MMA. You know, we got a great bunch of guys, and you know, it's just really the first gym that I ever trained at, and it's a gym that I'm always going to stay loyal to.
From what I have been told, and from what I've been able to find out, this is going to be one hell of a title fight. Like I said, 205 on the line, and you know, I'm going to give you both a chance. You know, we talk about the trash talk and all the comments that are made at the weigh-ins, and in pro wrestling and in mixed martial arts, it's no different in that particular regard. Everybody does the promos. Everybody has a chance to, you know, stick their little barbs in there every once in a while. But I'm going to give you all a chance to say exactly what's on your mind to each other right now, leading up to the big fight this coming Saturday night. Cupcake, you're up.
Yeah, man, what's on my mind is just get in there, do what I do best, man. You know, I don't know. You know, it's always interesting to me when people have trash to talk, because, I mean, I don't know this man personally, but all I know is I'm going to get in there ready to fight, man. If you're ready to fight, let's get it on.
Malcolm, come on in.
Yes, sir. I agree completely. You know, I don't know him personally as well. You know, it's not anything personal. It's just simply for the sport, you know, and I plan on having a lot of fun. You know, win or lose, it's going to be a great battle, and it's going to be awesome.
Gentlemen, I want to thank both of y'all for taking the time to come on board with us this evening. I'm looking forward to meeting y'all, and definitely looking forward to the fight that's coming Saturday night in Birmingham. Brian Lewis, Malcolm Hardman, thank you very much, both guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, man. Thank y'all, man. I love y'all. Everybody who plugged in, listen to me, holler at y'all too, man.
Hello.
We'll see you this Saturday night.
Have a great one.
David, come on in. I believe we were going to bring in Chris Connolly right now.
Chris Conley, oh wow. This guy's been around MMA and really for our state, putting our state where it needs to be. He has been on the front of all training camps here for the state. I believe we've had a couple of UFC fighters that have made it from Alabama, and both of them have been associated with Chris Conley. So Chris, are you there?
I'm here.
And we appreciate you being on the air. And, you know, we just talked to Malcolm and Brian as probably the premier amateur fight we have, but the main event is our heavyweights, and that's Joshua Robertson, which is your fighter, and
yes,
Big
sir.
Walt Harris, who I believe is on the phone now. Well, Walt, are you still here? I believe we've had a couple of UFC fighters. I guess Chris Conley is on the other line as well. So tell me about what you think about MMA in Alabama, and you know, where you see it going.
Do me a favor before anybody says anything else, guys. Do me a favor.
Alabama, man, I think it's untapped, and I think you know, I think it's great, man. I think a lot of the guys around here are putting in a lot of hard work to set themselves apart, and you know, we looked at as leaders coming out of this state, you know, and I see Alabama going a long way, man. I mean, we got a late start, you know, as far as being sanctioned and things like that, but you know, guys have been putting in work around here for years. So I think, you know, we got a long way to go, but I think it's going to be a wonderful journey.
Chris, how do you feel about that?
I think Walt's dead on, man. We've got some guys coming up from a variety of different camps that are really on the scene, and fights like this, cards put together like this that are matching guys from other camps right here in the state. You know, we're competing against guys from Auburn MMA. We're competing against guys from Champions. We're competing against, you know, some of the top camps in the state right now, and it's really going to show, I think, the competition level on the card. You know, all of our fights, these are some of the toughest fights that we've ever had in the state or out of state. All these fights are going to be real hard for us to win. I got 5 guys on the card. Each one of them is matched up. It's going to be a difficult matchup for us. Josh, And Walt is going to be a fantastic fight. When there was an opportunity for us to get on the card, we were trying to get on the card and say, hey, well, we got to fight for, Walt Harris. He's matched up with somebody else. So, hey, man, can we get that fight? Because Walt is one of the top guys in the state. So it's a good fight for Josh to try to go, move his way up the ranks. Josh is 3-1 right now. And he's had some situations where he hasn't looked good. He's had situations where he's looked good. So we're really looking to give him a good test. And hey, Walt's a stud, man. He's a great fighter. I got nothing negative to say about the guy at all. He comes from a good camp full of good guys, and that's going to be an exciting main event. So hopefully everyone will buy some tickets and pack the place out. It's going to be a real solid show. I've also got 4 other amateurs on the card that are in my opinion, some of the best around. Omar Johnson's one of my welterweights. He's a real solid guy. Kind of had a tough run here lately, but he's back on the winning track now. So, that's going to be a solid matchup. We're fighting one of the guys from Auburn MMA. JT is a real solid wrestler. That's going to be a good fight. Benjamin England, my 145er, he's undefeated now. He's 4-0. We're going to have a difficult fight for him against Jamie Robertson, solid wrestler. Guy who's trained with James Shrigley, so he's a real good grappler. I think a lot of the Alabama camps are underrated just because our commission kind of drug their feet for so long. The shows haven't really been, for a while, it was all amateur shows and guys that didn't really train at gyms and have coaches and kind of independently trained around. And now you're getting guys matched up from camps right here in the state. And those are fights you really want to win, because they're your neighbor. And although it's a friendly competition, you really want to win those fights, So all these fights are really evenly matched. It's not like we're getting some scrubs coming in from, that train in their backyard somewhere. Some dude climbs in the cage in blue jeans like he used to have. And that was the issue before, I think, with Alabama MMA. Right. There was no real rules. You could come in and get resin and glass and have a full-on to the death match. Nobody cared.
Yeah.
And while there was some fun times when those were the times, now it's changed and we got to abide by the rules. And I think it's good for Alabama MMA. We've got a sanctioning body, and hopefully we can take it where Georgia has taken it. Those guys have really made a lot of money, especially in Atlanta, although they've got some of their own issues they're working on right now. But it should be a real exciting night of fights. I hope everybody can watch. Of course, the thing, I know everybody from our camp's going to be there. I'm sure all the other surrounding camps, fans and families and friends are going to be there as well. So it should be a real exciting evening.
That they're looking at the state of Alabama. As someone who has been following the situation, and actually I dove in head first a couple of years ago, and actually a good friend of Beyond Ringside, who I call her the first mom of mixed martial arts in Alabama, and that would be Christy Isbell, who is actually the mother of Keaton Wood, who is going to be fighting on this show. She helped champion the cause of mixed martial arts, along with journalists like Vicki Jackson and some of the other notable names in and around the state. I know that as the progression has been made and the Alabama Athletic Commission finally started to get things into play, that people were finally, that Alabama has started to get a little bit more national attention in a good way, because for a while we did have, we had some promotions that were doing things the right way. But it was the ones that were doing the barroom fights, the tough man contests, that were the ones that were under the heavy negative scrutiny. And I've worked on both sides of that fence. I understand the game completely. But is it true to say that at this particular point in time, because of the way that things are starting to come together under ISKA, under the other amateur body, as well as through the Alabama Athletic Commission, A, we're being cast in more of a positive light now, and B, we're also getting positive national attention, as in strong, the larger promotions, including the Nationals, are looking at Alabama as one of the new proving grounds for an untapped wealth of MMA talent in this area, right?
Well, I think it's a known fact that Alabama produces some really superstar athletes, and there's some guys, and there's guys competing on this card right here that you're going to see some of that talent being showcased. You got guys out there that are competing on a national level and international level that are now coming back home to fight in Alabama because now it's legit. And the largest complaint with our growth process is the rules, between the amateur and the professional and all that stuff. And while some of those rules are they need a little bit of work, I think it's important that amateur mixed martial arts looks different than professional mixed martial arts.
Right.
So instead of watching two guys scrap it out with bubble gloves and shin pads, and you know, they want to see the professionals fight, which encourages promotions to put on pro cards. So guys are getting paid. So the guys that are reaching the top of the piston pole, you know, those guys are sticking around to fight in state instead of, you know, switching camps and moving to somewhere else like a lot of my guys did, you know, because the state of Alabama is it's just difficult. Now we're starting to put together camps, you know, where there's some superstar talent coming around competing. Guys like Walt Harris, guys like Joshua Robertson, guys like Fred Weaver, guys that are out there, you know, traveling around nationally and putting on shows everywhere.
Right.
They're coming home to fight because now they can get paid. The objective, you know, the best guys around turn pro. They get paid, you know. And for the longest time, it was all amateur shows because there was really no difference between professional and amateur fighting. Right. So I think it's, you know, it's safety issue one, and I get it. I think some of the rules need some work, but I don't have a problem with it. I think it's an important process, the growth process, and it's good for the state. It's good for the sport. It's going to legitimize this thing. Now the commission. You know, the issue with the commission is communication. There's a lack of it. There's a lack of understanding and education about our sport because it's new, and the people that are involved really just don't know that much about it. So it's important that the coaches and the trainers and the promoters go to these meetings, as arduous as it be to drive out to Montgomery and sit through a meeting with, you know, with sitting at a desk for 2 hours when you could be out doing something else.
Right.
It's important that we involve ourselves in that process so that, you know, they know our faces, they know our feelings, and communicate intelligently instead of, you know, like a bunch of backwoods, degenerate, inbred, booger-eating, you know, dumbasses that need to be, you know what I mean? That need to be back in the dark ages. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's not good for anybody, you know? So that's my 2 cents, man. For whatever my opinion is worth, there it is. You know?
Oh, where's Mabo when I need him on that one? Do me a favor, Chris, can you hang on the line for a second?
Certainly.
Folks, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. We're going to be back on this MMA edition, Strikehard 20 edition of Beyond Ringside right after this. It has been a raucous night here, and I've loved every minute of it. David, you know something? When you make the comment that Strikehard's going to bring it when we want interviews, by golly, you were telling the truth.
Hey, these guys come to play now. I'm telling you, they come to fight, and you know, they're more than willing to do anything that we've ever asked them to do, and we appreciate the opportunity that you have given us to get on this podcast. So.
First off, I want to welcome everybody back into Beyond Ringside live on a Sunday night edition. We are 1 minute before the top of the 8 o'clock hour. I hate to do this for everybody listening. If you're getting ready to call in, please hold the lines because I've got a stacked phone bank. I cannot take any more calls at this exact moment. If things work out, we may try to take a couple more as the night goes on. Beyond Ringside Live, Fast Eddie Layne, normally joined by Mark Mabo Bowman. Also want to give a very special shout to my tag team partner, the Wicked Nemesis. From there, we were supposed to be joined by Curtis the Bulldog Putman out of 97 ESPN Radio out of Huntsville, Alabama. Curtis has been sick and was not able to join us, but he wanted me to send his regards to everybody. Also want to say a very special hello and thank you to MMA reporter Vicki Jackson from around the Octagon. Always great to speak to Vicki, and was very instrumental in helping to set everything up, get the wheels in motion with me and David trying to set everything up last week and this week. Right now, want to go ahead and welcome back in good friend of ours here on Beyond Ringside, the big ticket Walt Harris in the house. Walt, how you doing, man?
Doing good, man. What's going on, Eddie?
It has been crazy. First off, let's see. I believe you have been on a number of different cards around the Southeast. You've also been out to the Wild Wild West. I remember hearing about you before I met you, or before we had you on the show, because you were fighting with SFA. Then you did a special card out at the race course, if my memory serves me correctly, and that's where we had our first contact. Was with another promotion when you were doing a show at the Birmingham race course, and since then you have been on a rocket sled that blows most people's minds.
Hey, yeah, man, I've been grinding, man. For 4 years, man, we've been putting it on, man, trying to, bring MMA to where it's supposed to be in the state of Alabama, man. I felt like, we got a late start, so, it was kind of, to me, I felt like, not saying that I'm the leader, but, I feel a responsibility to try to, be the best
ambassador I can be when I'm outside of this state. You know what I'm saying? So me and my coach and my team was hitting the road like every other week, you know, trying to fight, you know, any and everywhere we could. So, yeah, you know, it's been going on like that for about 4 years, man, doing it as much as I can.
It really has, because, I mean, like I said, you've been all over the place. You've given a great account of yourself. Now, where are you training out of now?
I'm now Champions Freestyle Fitness, and I with a partnership with American Top Team, but, you know, my home base is Champions. That's going to always be my gym.
Okay. David, if you would come on in and do the setup for us.
Oh, I'm just super appreciative of Walt taking this fight. You know, Walt and I talked backstage at a fight, and I told him, he said, man, he really wanted to fight in front of his hometown crowd. And I started about 6 months ago trying to put something together, and he was under contract. And in between contracts, he called me and he said, hey, I can do one. And we started scrambling, and feel very, very fortunate to have Walt on this card and representing our state. So, Walt, man, we are proud of you, buddy, and we appreciate everything you've done for Strikehard and everything that you're going to do next week, because I know you got a huge opponent in front of you in Josh, and he's really wanting to make a name for himself, and a win over you would be huge for him right now. So, you know, and he's a crosstown rival. I mean, you know, he's an in-state hometown guy, but he's a crosstown rival as well.
We trained together a little bit at American Top Team as well, you know, and we trained a little bit together when I was in the amateurs. So, you know, we got kind of a relationship, you know, so it's kind of, you know, it's business at the end of the day to me, you know what I'm saying? We can be buddy after the fight, but, you know, it is what it is. You know, you found on that line, it's time to get it in.
Yeah, that's one thing that a lot of people take into consideration, and a lot of people don't take into consideration. But because of all the proximities in place, you've got dojos in Birmingham and Tuscaloosa, you've got them up in Huntsville, down on the Gulf Coast, down in East Alabama, out of Gadsden, and the sister city of Gadsden, Anniston. You've got dojos all over the states, training facilities all over the states. Well, a lot of y'all have a chance to intermix, and a lot of y'all are friends. But by the same token, when that bell rings and that cage door locks, it's on its business, right?
Yes, sir. It's always, you know, it's always that way. I think, you know, at the end of the day, it's a sport, you know, and it's competition, and everybody, I think, that gets involved in any type of competition, whatever it is, if it's tying your shoes, you know, I speak it from my case. I want to be the best at it. You know, I don't look at friendships as far as, you know, oh, I'm gonna take it easy on this guy, I'm gonna be nice to this guy. Like, you know, I take what Michael Jordan said. He said, once we get between the lines, I don't know who you are. You're in it. You know, I got to go in and do what I got to do. You know, what I'm trying to do. So, you know, after the fight over with or after the game over with, we can kick it, we can talk, we can train together. You know, I got a lot of guys that I fought over the years that I'm still friends with, you know, that I still keep in contact with, that I still train with, that I talk to, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I'm not a malicious person. I believe in, you know, sportsmanship first, but once that cage door locked, man, I turn into a different, you know, different person. I'm a different animal, so.
Exactly, because whether you're working on the amateur side trying to build and hone your craft, whether you're on the professional side trying to build and further your reputation in this industry, when that cage door locks, I mean, before everything is set, before that cage door locks and before that bell sounds, you know, we try to help each other, we try to look out for each other. If we notice something in training techniques, we'll try to help we'll work with you on it, you know, but when that door locks, the only person who can help you is your own personal crew and you, right?
Yeah, you're right. And even, you know, they can't really help you too tough once you get in there. I mean, it's mono. You know, my thing is that MMA is a very team-oriented sport. That's what a lot of people don't get. You know, a lot of people that are not familiar with the sport, they think, oh, it's all about you and the guy in the cage. But it takes a team to build you up, to put you where you are. You know, you got to have good training partners. You got to have people that push you day in and day out to keep going. You know, if you got, you know, you by yourself, or, you know, you with a camp, jumping from camp to camp and going from place to place, you can't ever get into a groove with the guy, you know, with guys and learn what you do wrong and what you don't do, you know, what you do well. So, you know, it's a team sport, but, hey, that fight night, man, you know, I got to do what I got to do.
Now, is there any special prep you got going into the fight with Josh, or are you taking everything one step at a time?
What'd you say? I couldn't hear you.
Preparations for this fight, the upcoming fight with Josh.
Oh, man, it's the same, man. You know, I'm busting my tail, you know, 5 days a week, you know, doing what I do, man, working on what I feel I need to get better at and the holes in my game. You know, I really don't try to focus on my opponent per se too much, because I learned from, you know, listening to other fighters who reach the top of the sport. You know, they say you can get out of your own, you know, focus when you start looking at the other opponent and not worried about yourself. So, you know, yeah, I look at the person, I see what they do well and try to accentuate, you know, what I may not do well, you know. But at the same time, I focus more on myself, you know, and try to focus on what I can control. You know, I can't control what another man do. So all I can do is control what Walter has to do, and that's to train my ass off, make sure I'm taking care of my body and doing what I need to do when I get in there on fight night to put on a great show.
And you made the reference to this being a hometown situation for you. If there's a message you want to put out in the Metro right now, what would that be from the big ticket?
I can't hear you muffling up again. What now?
Knowing the fact that this is going to be a hometown situation for you, is there a special message you want to put out there to the hometown crowd from the big ticket?
Oh, man, just come out and support my man David Elder. You know, me and this dude have developed a good relationship, and he was the first person I thought about calling when, you know, my first contract fell through. I was like, man, let me call David, you know, to give myself a fight, you know, get back in there and get the ring rust off and do my thing. You know, and the message is basically be, man, come out and watch me put on the show, man. You know, every day to please and make, you know, people of Alabama and Birmingham proud. So come out and support us, you know, what we love to do, because at the end of the day, we do it. Come out and watch us put on the show, man.
Looking forward to it. Walt, I know you said you had a couple more interviews that you had to do before the night was over, so my friend, I'm going to let you run, but I'm definitely looking forward to seeing you this coming Saturday night in Birmingham.
Yes, sir, man. It's good to hear from you, man. I hope all of you do it well. We hope you do better, man.
We'll see you this coming Saturday.
Thanks, Walt.
Right, bro.
Thank you.
Thanks. Later, bro.
We've had the giant conference call going on off air as well as on air for the most part. We're trying to keep everything in some semblance of craziness on air, but it's chaos off air. And you know something? We wouldn't have it any other way. Ladies and gentlemen, no kidding. I'm not kidding. Folks, we're going to keep this thing going on this Sunday night edition of Beyond Ringside. I want to say thank you again to David Elder for joining us, along with a number of the fighters who are going to be featured on SHP 20 this coming Saturday night in Birmingham. And a person who I almost feel that I've had a chance to watch do a little bit of growing up in this industry. Of course, longtime listeners to this show are going to know two very good friends of ours. One, MMA reporter from around the Octagon and various other publications, including The Examiner. That would be Vicki Jackson. And some would say that her tag team partner, to a great degree in this overall scenario, a lady who has become the first mom of MMA in Alabama. And I'm referring to Christy Isbell. And her son, who, like I said, I heard a lot about him in the early going. I heard about the situation where he wanted to train here in Alabama, but because of the situation with the board, my brain just went, with Athletic Commission, wasn't able to do that here and wasn't able to fight here. And now, because of the relationship we have with the ISKA as well as the Athletic Commission, he does have a chance and has had a chance and will once again have a chance to fight here in front of the hometown crowd. Keaton Wood, come on in. Welcome to Beyond Ringside.
Oh, thanks for having me. How are you doing tonight?
I feel like I know so much about you to begin with, and we've met in passing for the most part, and this is the first chance we really had to get you on the show.
Right. I think we met in my last fight. I think we pretty much just shook hands, and that was about it. But
yeah, because
it's a great time to get to talk to you.
Yeah, because you were in 9 different directions because of everything going on that particular night. I don't know if you heard earlier, but it's like on show dates, on fight dates, I normally try to stay away for the most part. If I get a chance to introduce myself, I will. But knowing the fact that y'all are trying to get everything, the last minute prep down, and of course, if you're having to deal with ISCA or deal with the commission, you know, you've got all that going on as well. So I try to keep my distance, and I'll try to get a chance to introduce either before or after the fight. But first off, great to have you on board. You've got a great match coming up this coming Saturday night with Strikehard, man.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Been training real hard, and can't wait to get in there and show people, how much I've been working.
Now, let me ask the direct question. Being able to finally fight in the state of Alabama first, and then closer to home, how has this progression been for you personally?
And it's been awesome. I've been training for about 5 years now. I just turned 20 in October, so I've been training for a good while. And but I was waiting until that time I turned 18 to fight, and all that went down where you couldn't fight. So I graduated high school and I moved to Atlanta to train that American Top Team. Fought there, and then when all the commission stuff got fixed, I came back, and this will be my third fight back home. So third fight this year back in Alabama, and I'm hoping to make it 3-0 in the year. So
Really looking forward to it. Now, you've got a gentleman by the name of Rob. I hope I pronounce it right. Robert Frettenbro?
That is correct.
That's it.
I'm 2 for 2 on the phonetics tonight. Holy nutmeg. I'm actually getting something right. And for those listening to the show on a regular basis, you know that doesn't happen that often. Keaton, what kind of research have you had a chance to do background on Robert to find out exactly what you're up against this week?
Really, I just saw that, or from what I heard, he's pretty tough. Hits hard, just pretty much a brawler. So, I was really, really excited when I actually heard that that's his style and stuff, because, I think that'd be an awesome fight, and everybody would love to see it.
Now, noting the fact that you had originally been doing a lot of work with ATT Atlanta, who are you? What dojo are you training out of here in the Metro?
I trained from Childersburg MMA. I was there before I moved to Atlanta too, and then I moved off to Atlanta. Lived there for close to a year. Now I'm back in Childersburg.
Well, take a moment, give a shout that way, man. Call names if you want to.
Oh yeah. I just want to thank James Shregley and Tommy Shregley mostly for they've always been there for me, and man, that gym is pretty much a home. I live with a few other guys that train there, and I see them more than my own family. So I want to thank them, and I want to thank Strikehard for allowing me to be on the card, and they're great guys. David, I've known him for a while, and they're just phenomenal guys. So
David, come on in for a second.
Well, I was enjoying that. If you want to say a few more things, Keaton, feel free. I mean, we've got all night. No, man, it is an honor. And those of you that hadn't seen Keaton Woods, he is the biggest 145 you've ever seen in your life. How tall are you, Keaton?
I'm probably 6'1".
Yeah, 6'1" at 145 pounds. Now, when we were eating lunch not long ago, he was about 178, close to 180 maybe.
180.
And he's talking to me about fighting at 145, and I'm, oh my gosh, who are we going to match him with? So I found the toughest guy that I know, which is Robert Frettenborough, and this guy absolutely can take a punch. He has a fight on our Strikehard MMA 1. If you go to YouTube, and our YouTube channel is Strikehard MMA 1, and look up, he fought Kevin Van Ostren. That's 2 last names for you.
There you go.
That's a heavyweight bout by itself. But these 2 guys at 145 absolutely annihilated each other, and so this is a big test for Keaton. It's hard to match him because he's got a lot of experience, a lot of training experience, and people know him, and he's big. I mean, he's 6'1", 145 pounds. I mean, that's big. So this is going to be a great fight. We're super excited to have Keaton on the card. So thanks for fighting with us, brother.
Oh yeah, I'm more than happy to. Let's go out there and put on a show for everybody, and hopefully Robert's been training hard, because I've been training. I train every single day. I haven't ever, I don't stop. So hopefully he's ready, and we'll put on an exciting fight, and I look forward to it.
Well, I don't know that Robert's ever been knocked down. I know his losses have come from submissions and chokes, but he's working on his jiu-jitsu game. He is in great shape. He never gets tired. So it's going to be one that Keaton is definitely going to have to be on his A game, and I know he will. James always has his guys there. He trains with Chase Horton. That's one of his roommates, and so he's always going to be on his A game. But he's really got a test for him this weekend with Robert. So I'm anxious to see how this fight goes.
Now, actually, Keaton, if I may, while I've got the opportunity, I know that we've also got, and I've made the reference to her twice earlier, but Christy Isbell, come on board.
Hey, Eddie, how are you?
Long time no see. Glad to have you back with us.
Great to be back.
Now, first off, you had a chance to listen to some of the comments that have been made by some of the fighters earlier this evening. You also had a chance to listen to some of the comments made by Chris Connolly earlier in the evening. I know there's some things that you were originally wanting to weigh in on.
Yeah, I was listening to them and all the different things that they were talking about, and of course everything's different for each fighter and what they're going through. And the biggest thing that lays on my heart is when I think about David Elder and Matt and all the hard work and dedication that these men put into going in making one of these shows become something so that our sons, our husbands, our brothers can get out and do what they are meant to do is just phenomenal. And I can't thank them enough for all that hard work to make that happen for these guys, because without them, this show wouldn't even take place.
Now, it's been a while since you and I have spoken, and since you've been here on the show. As it stands, excuse me, sorry, I just had to cough my head off, that's all. But as it stands, noting what all you've done to try to help further and advance the cause of mixed martial arts in the state of Alabama, how does it feel to know that you've had such a positive impact on this overall situation to try to help keep the ball rolling, keep the athletic commission on their toes?
Well, I'd like to say that I had some input on it, but looking back on it now, all it really was just trying to make some noise and just getting the right people to listen to the noise, and just trying to make some connections and just do anything that you could just to get somebody that would listen to you. And a few of us did that, and people started listening. And it really was so many of us that did so many things, like you said, like Vicky. I mean, you would have us, we would go down to the meetings down in Montgomery, not knowing what they were talking about, but just pretending that we did, and come back with like, okay, well, this is what we got to go up against this time. And they always said that the squeaky wheel will get the oil, so we just squeak. We just squeaked all we could squeak.
I understand that concept oh so well. Now, I know you're going to be at the fight this coming Saturday, right?
Oh, my gosh, yes. I'm sorry, did you say something that I did not understand?
Ladies and gentlemen, did I just ask one of the dumbest questions in human history or what? Don't answer.
Yes, you did.
I was about to say, you doesn't have to answer that. But
Oh, okay.
Let me tell you what, though, about Strikehard, what I've noticed with David and them. Keith will come down here and get tickets and stuff that we've sold, and, he's excited, and he's doing such a great job promoting and everything. But his company you feel so good promoting for this company, even though I haven't actually seen one of their shows, and Keaton hasn't fought in one, I have no doubt it is going to be top-notch and the best that Birmingham has had to offer when we go in there this Saturday night.
Well, Christy, I'm looking forward to seeing you down there. Keaton, I'm looking forward to seeing you again down there. It's, like I said, this whole show is promising to be an absolute blast and then some, and I am so ready for it.
Absolutely.
But I want to say, Keaton, Christy, thank you both for taking the time to come on. It is great to hear from y'all again, and I'll see you this weekend.
Yes, see you
All right,
soon.
thank
Thank you too, David.
Hey, thank you very much.
David,
See y'all soon.
we'll see you soon. Now, David, you made a reference to the fact that we have another complete match here in the phone bank with us this evening.
We do. We got Andy Roberts and Ken Dubose, and this will be a big match. Andy has been well known in the state of Alabama for a long time in MMA, and he's taken a little bit of time off. He's making a re-entry back in as a local, really celebrity, I guess you would say, or phenom. He's known as a great grappler, and he's fighting a guy that I've never seen Ken fight, but he comes highly recommended, and he's been a real pleasure to work with, very professional. But, Ken made a comment to me. He said, hey, this is a comeback fight for Andy, but this is do or die for me. So, when he said that, it really amped up this whole fight concept, of having these two on the card together, because, for Andy, it's a comeback deal. Hey, man, I'm back here in the state. We're representing the state. I'm not going anywhere. I'm right here in Auburn. I'm just down the road. And here comes Ken. This is saying, this is do or die. So we got both these guys on the line tonight. Welcome into the to the line. So who's on here? Is Andy or
Andy? Ken, I got both y'all right.
I'm good.
Yeah. So we're excited to have you guys both on the card.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you having me.
David, I'm gonna go find. Do me a favor. I'm gonna ask you to take point for just a minute. I'm gonna go find some more cough syrup. I'll be right back. I promise.
All right, that'll work. Andy, have you had a chance to find out anything on Ken?
Not a whole lot. I mean, I've heard a little bit of stuff just from folks I know that have trained with Ken or worked with him, but I don't really know too much. I'm just kind of focused more on me more than I am focused on him, honestly.
Now, how long ago was it you fought, I believe, in Tuscaloosa at the Bama Theater years ago?
Yeah, that was probably 5 years ago, maybe. That's been quite a while, but yeah, I really don't get to fight in Alabama much, and that's one of the few times I've gotten to. So.
Yeah, I was actually at that fight. That's the first time I ever saw Andy Roberts.
Well, I had a nice performance that night. I was definitely happy with how things went that evening.
That's right. Now, what do you see happening in this fight? Now, knowing what you know about Ken and knowing what you want to do, what's the game plan here? What's the preparations? And
I don't do anything different for each individual opponent per se. I look at it like I've got to focus and funnel the action towards the things that I do well. And if the fight is fought where I want it to be fought in the fashion that I want it to be fought in, I feel like I'm going to come out on top. If I'm not able to control the action in the way that I want to, it may be more of a struggle. But controlling the bout is something I've predicated a lot of my wins on. So I'll try to replicate that one more time.
Well, Ken, are you on the line?
Yeah, I'm here.
Ken, we appreciate you coming to Alabama all the way from Mississippi, straight up I-20, and I know you've had a chance to see some footage and know a little bit about Andy. How's your preparation been? I know you had some funny comments on Facebook about eating too much. How's the weight going?
Yeah, you guys excuse me a little bit, trying to get over this cold, but yeah, I picked the worst time to take a 160 or 155 fight because I've always wanted to fight at 155. And I don't like to throw food away at my house, so anytime there's leftovers, I eat. But as of right now, the weight cut is going pretty good. I'll make weight, that's no problem. I'm just preparing for the fight the best way I can. I watch video on them. I've talked to a couple of guys that I've known and became friends with throughout the fight game. And my game plan is to do the same as I do every fight. I don't worry about what they're good at or what they're not good at. I pretty much, everybody, if they hear anything about me, the first of all is probably what school I come from. It's the Healthy Grayson affiliate school. But the main thing that they hear about is, he's a stand-up guy. But a lot of that, and I like that, the fact that they say, well, he's a stand-up guy. And they don't realize they just give me more and more opportunity to work on my jiu-jitsu game. And I got one of the best jiu-jitsu guys in the South to work with, Matt Hudson. No one around that I believe, and he's shown that no one around here that can beat him. He's a brown belt under Helson, and as a purple belt, he was beating brown belts, black belts, and I'm just, grateful and thankful to be able to train him every day. That way, anytime I come up with against a jiu-jitsu guy, there's nothing they can surprise me with because I've probably seen it with Matt.
Well, that's fantastic. And what camp are you out of over in Mississippi?
Our school is Health and Gracie 601, brown belt instructor who lived and trained with the Gracies for 14 years. He was ex-Marine, born and raised in Meridian. He came back from Hawaii and opened up a jiu-jitsu school in 07, and I've been with him ever since 07. Went 4-0 as an amateur, and couldn't find anybody else to fight me as an amateur, so I talked to commission, told commission I was ready for a pro fight, and they gave it to me. Fought a guy from Florida, came from Capital in Florida. Pretty good school, and he was 3-1. He walks around like 200 and some pounds. He cuts to 170, and I'm the type of fighter I'm not gonna cut that much weight. I walk around like 178. So the weight cut is easy for me, it was hard for him. And if you go to my website, copycat601.com, you can see a picture and tell the size difference and me and him. But I pretty much dominated the whole fight on the ground, standing up. He was considered a wrestler, but he only took me down once. Pretty much stuffed every takedown except one. And every transition, and I ended up choking him out in the third round.
Well, that's fantastic. I'll tell you, this is one of the strongest fight cards I've ever been able to put together. I can look down here. We have 16 fights that I'm looking at right here, and I don't know how to pick winners in here. And I'm really looking for big things with you and Andy, and I really appreciate both of you guys, all the efforts that y'all put on to help promote this fight with me. Ken's gone out and passed out flyers and got on Facebook, and we appreciate all that continued support from both of you guys. Andy, you got any shout-outs you want to give? I know you got some teammates fighting on this card.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that'd be my pleasure. First I'd like to say for Dallas, Dallas Garst is going to be fighting this weekend, and he's the hardest working kid. He's a smart fighter. Dallas is growing. He's 7-1, I believe now. He's a real tough kid. He's got a big future, and it'll be a treat for a lot of folks to get to see him fight again. He's really on the way up. Also, JT is fighting a guy from Spartan, I believe. JT Colvin is he's a tough, top-notch kid. He's a great fighter. He lives in the gym. I mean, literally, he'll be there at 5 a.m. He'll be there at 9 p.m. He's an absolute 100% top-notch hard worker. But also Malcolm puts on a show every time he comes out. Malcolm is an absolute beast. It would be worth $30 just for his fight. Malcolm and Cupcake is going to be killer. I'm very excited about that one. But I'd also like to give a big shout out to Keith Johnson, my training partner. Keith's the man. He's won everything lately and beat up everybody. He's awesome. And Shane Mills, Shane's been pushing me. He's done a lot for me this camp. Also has Free Nutrition and Throat Punch. Throat Punch will be doing the gear for our guys for this fight. So big shout out to them. And Big Dave for getting the fight for me. Dave's my manager. He hooked it up. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Well, man, we appreciate having you guys on here. And let's see, Eddie, are you back?
I'm with you.
Man.
Little by little, I'm with you. Ken, Andy,
you okay?
Like I said, I'm hanging on. Vic's Formula 44, and sometimes they keep changing the formula on me, so it doesn't work as well as it used to. But Ken, Andy, thank you both for taking the time to come on. I'm really looking forward to seeing this pro fight coming up. Now, before I let you run, Ken, you were fighting out of you're fighting out of Mississippi. You're coming into Alabama. How much of a variance are you going to have to look for when it comes to the rules and regulations that Alabama has in place over what Mississippi does?
It's hard to hear. I don't know if it's something in the background playing louder or something.
Yeah, guys, do me a favor. For everybody on the line right now, do me a favor. Turn your speakers down because they're blaring through. But from that vantage point, coming from Mississippi into Alabama,
right?
Any major rules differences that you're having to look out for?
Oh, man, anytime you're fighting out of town, out of state, you're fighting in front of somebody's home crowd, there's only two things you can do in a fight, and that's either end the fight early or submit the guy. You can't leave it up to the judges. Every fight I go into, that's my game plan. Never leave it up to the judges. I want to end the fight or submit the guy or just never leave it up to the judges. Even regardless if you're winning the whole fight, you never know what can happen at the end. If you're playing around with the guy and not don't finish the guy, he can always come back and catch you with a punch or kick or end up submitting you. So I'm looking forward to, fighting Andy and hopefully I can just end the fight early, man. I don't want to play around. I'm going to go in and do what I'm supposed to do what I train to do and get it over with.
Well, gentlemen, once again, I want to thank you both for taking the time to come on the show this evening. It's great to hear from both of y'all, and I'm seriously looking forward to the fight this Saturday night.
All right.
Ken DuBose.
Thanks, guys.
I appreciate it, brother.
Ken DuBose and Andy Roberts right here on Beyond Ringside. Gentlemen, I appreciate it.
Thanks again.
It's Seth again. I was just going to say a quick something about that fight there between Ken and Andy. I expected a big fight tonight. Growing up, Andy was a couple years ahead of me in school, and I used to watch him wrestle. I consider him as a real good wrestler. And Ken's training partner, Matt Hutch, is a beast. I found out the hard way about that. But if Ken's anything like Matt, it's going to be a war. I expect that one to be fight of the night there.
Seth, it's good to have you on here, brother.
Yes, sir.
Glad you got out of the tree stand.
It was tough. It was tough.
It's hard balancing being a firefighter, a wrestling coach, a full-time deer hunter, and a professional mixed martial artist. You know, it's tough.
Ladies and gentlemen, Seth Burgett right here on Beyond Ringside. Come on board, Seth, once again. Did I hear you out of the tree stand tonight? What, avid hunter?
Absolutely, yes, sir.
What season are we in?
Do what now?
What season are we in?
Oh, deer season. Well, from what I hear, it's duck season. I'm trying to get old David Elder to take me duck hunting.
No, I know we're still in bow season. They haven't brought the rifles out yet, have they?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. But I leave it at home. I still take my bow.
Guns are fun. A bow and arrow will definitely put your eyes to the test, however. And speaking of, you're going to be put to the test this coming Saturday night. You, Randall Ward, one-on-one inside the cage.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm getting excited. You know, I always look forward to fighting around fighting in hometown, fight with all my friends and family around. So I'm pumped up.
Now, what all of you, first off, for those who haven't had a chance to find out that much about Seth Burgett, give us a little bit of your background real quick.
I grew up, I started wrestling when I was in 3rd grade. My parents got me involved with wrestling. Before that, I was actually in Taekwondo. And they got me involved in wrestling when I was in 3rd grade, partially because I was terrible at basketball. And I graduated high school. I signed a wrestling scholarship to Division II school. And then I decided I didn't want to leave home. And so I ended up playing junior college baseball instead. And I kind of got the buzz and missed wrestling. So back in the day, I used to get all these tough man competitions where just boxing and bars and stuff. I used to get my teeth kicked in all the time. And then I got a job as a firefighter, and I put on some weight. And I decided the only thing I knew how to do is get rid of, the way to get rid of the weight was to wrestle. So I started wrestling. Next thing I know, I was fighting. And now I coach a high school wrestling team also. So
coolness. David, come on in.
Hey, we're excited to have Seth. He's been a friend of ours for a while. He's been, I guess, most all the Strikehard events, and this is the first time that we've been able to put a show on, as have pros on the show. And he went pro earlier this year, and I guess this will be your 3rd fight, right?
Yes, sir. The 3rd fight this year. Been busy.
And Seth was a friend of ours back several years ago when we were fighting before the commission. And Randall Ward won our 170-pound amateur title, and Seth wanted to fight him way back then. So, both of them's gone pro now. This will be Randall's 2nd fight as a pro. So this is going to be a war of the makings. And Randall's moved from Tennessee, so he's now an Alabama boy living down in South Alabama. So, this is going to be a big one. Randall's real good off his back, and Seth is a real good wrestler, which means that Randall's going to end up on his back. So, I'm anxious to see how this fight's going to go.
Now, you're fighting out of Champions, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm training there full time now. I train there. I train there 4 or 5 days a week. I also do a little traveling. Every time David goes to the gym somewhere to do promotion and stuff, seems like I always run into him there. But I get around some. I try to train with the guys at Chillersburg and jump through now and everything, Ray Echo some. I move around, train a little bit everywhere, but my home gym's Champion.
Okay. Now,
I see why MMA. I train there and do all my cardio stuff there too. So.
See, that was something that I've been meaning to bring up, because everybody wants to give shouts in particular directions, but when you're on the road and when you're doing so many different things like you do, everything from a firefighter, avid hunter, and I lost track of everything else that you said you were doing, you don't always get a chance to go to the same gym, right?
Right. So I guess I hunt up in Kentucky a lot. I found a little jiu-jitsu gym up there. They've been real nice thing. I just walk in the door and train up there, and everywhere I can. I got a real good heavyweight wrestler on my high school team. He's a big body, pushes me. So I get my training in. It's just not the same way everybody else does.
One step at a time, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, you've heard me use the word promo mode every once in a while. For the fight coming up this coming Saturday night, if there's a message you'd like to send out, first off to your opponent and second off to the fans who are listening right now, what would that be?
It's no secret what I'm going to do. Every time I fight, there's no backing up. I walk straight across the cage. I'm willing to stand up as long as you want to until you hurt me one. And then, then from there, I'm going to try to pick you up, throw you in your head, and Randy could pull you a Tito Ortiz till it's over. So there's no secret what I'm going to do. I try to get in there and out of there quick. I fought, let's see, 2 pro fights this year. I fought a total of 1 minute and 55 seconds. One of them didn't go so hot, but it's going to be exciting. Y'all come check it out.
Seth, I'm really looking forward to it. David, anything else you want to add?
Man, I just appreciate all these guys being on the air. I know we got another one that's been waiting in the balance over there, Robert Thompson, who's the, I don't know, the grandfather of all MMA in the state or something, like 80-something fights. I think Robert is on there. Sometimes he's a politician. I've seen him, petition me on the internet to put him on a card in Alabama, and I promised this man the first time we had a pro fight available that he would be on the card, and he is fighting our first 205 champion in Fred Weaver. And, Fred was an amateur champion for us. And so Robert, I don't know, he's one of the first guys I ever saw live fight MMA in the state of Alabama. So, Robert, you there?
Robert Thompson, come on in.
Yes, I'm here.
Now, for the first off, he was making the reference to the grandfather. What is your record sitting at right now?
Amateur and pro combined.
Amateur and pro combined, I'm over 40 fights.
Now, where all have you fought?
Florida, Georgia, North South Carolina, Louisiana all the time. Shout out to Rich Committee. Mississippi, Texas, California, Nevada, Germany, Australia, China, Japan a lot, and Korea and Thailand.
Well, first off, let me say thank you for I want to thank everybody, first off, for their patience in hanging on the line, because a lot of the guys have been hanging on ever since we first started the segment. Robert, you've been on with us for quite a while. Seth, you were on with us for quite a while before we were able to get both of y'all on, and I want to thank you both for your patience. It's been a crazy night here. Now, Robert, you're going to be taking on a good friend of the show in Fred Weaver, this coming Saturday night in Birmingham, Alabama. What all of you had a chance to find out about Fred?
Well, I mean, I've seen Fred before. I know Fred for back in the day, and he's a pretty tough guy, man, And he's one of those fully trained guys. I mean, don't stand right there in front of him because you're guaranteed to get run over. That's a guarantee.
And,
so it's going to be it's going to one of those fights where it's going to be chip, not checkers.
Now, for those who have not really had a chance to see you fight, give a little bit of background on yourself, please.
Wow. Long time ago. Came back out Marine Corps after 12 years, and met up with Tough Tom Stedham, and was back here in Tuscaloosa, and we jumped everything off, and started up the SFA, and we was cranking it ever since then. I've been boxing with JP, so Scott Boxing. Man, grappling from here to Cali. I've been around, man. All the way around.
You made a reference to being in the Marines a couple of minutes ago, right?
Yes.
Thank you for everything you do. It is greatly appreciated. I say that when I find out that one of our dignitaries and one of our guests has actively served in the military, the first thing that pops into my head, thank you very much.
Oh, yeah, man. Well, I would like to give the things really transfer that over to the guys that's still in right now, man, because, I did my time when I'm out, but these other guys, man, they're dealing with a whole nother level of complications, But those guys, they're really tough, and they're doing their thing, and I would like to give a shout out to all service members, man. You're in there, you got your tags on, you're doing it. You got my boot, man. My hat's off to you.
Exactly. I mean, we made the reference to, for the long-time listeners to the show, I've made the reference on more than one occasion that my father had served 2 tours at Korea, and to sit back and to watch, and he's the one who actually got me more actively involved in keeping an eye on what happens with the military, and I've been trying to be more of a avid spokesperson on behalf of, active and retired military people. So, like I said, my hat's off. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow, my respect will always be there.
All right, that's cool, man.
Coming up into this coming Saturday night, like I said, it's gonna be a good. I've had a chance to catch Fred a couple of times. I have not had it personally. I'm trying to remember because I've been to a number of different fights around the state, and I've seen so many fighters. And this is really weird because I know that I know that I've seen you before. I know that I've watched you.
Man, it's kind of hard not to see me, man, because I've been everywhere. I mean, you just ask around, any fighter that you got in this card, I mean, every fighter on this card knows me. They're either trained with me or we've been at the same gym together, we've been in competitions together. I mean, I'm around, you know. I'm always around.
I'm stacking the facts, and I'm looking right now, and I'm saying this is going to be a solid fight. I mean, I've got to tip my hat all over again. David, Matt, I mean, I've been looking at the card. I've been, like I said, I've been trying to do homework on the fly from last week and this week, and all the way across the board, y'all have got a stacked solid lineup, guys.
Oh, I'm telling you, I'm so excited about this. Robert and I go way back. I actually worked out in a gym where Robert was training back. I've actually cornered Robert by accident a couple of times, and where one time he was fighting in Mobile, and his trainer got sick and had to end up having surgery, gallbladder taken out, and so it was me and Robert. You know, we went out and Robert won the fight. And then me and Robert, we walk in Fayette on one of Butterbean's shows. Herb Dean was reffing the match, and look around, and it's me and Robert again in the corner. And so me and Robert as a team, when I'm in his corner, he's 2-0. So, you know, I'm just saying, you know, but
he's putting it out there. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you know, just going to lay out some old times. But and then me and Fred go way back. You know, like I said, he was our first 205 champion. So fight after fight after fight, it doesn't make any difference whether it's amateur or pro. Every one of these fights are stacked up with great matches where, you know, these I can't tell you who's going to win the battle. You know, I tried to match them as evenly as I can, and you know, there's going to be winners and losers. That's for sure. But you know, I just can't pick them right now. I'd hate to be a
well, if I can, you know, I like to tell David things once again. I know I have. Me and you have been apart for a while. I mean, I've been off for more than like 5 years. And it's good to be, you know, finally fighting back into, you know, close to Tuscaloosa, man, where, you know, while I went to high school and stuff. I mean, it's real great. My whole community's behind me. And they're going to actually get a chance to see me not on YouTube or not on any pay-per-view or anything like that. They're going to get a chance to see me live. And, you know, for all the people out there who forgot about me back in the day because I've been gone so long, it's going to be a treat for them.
Absolutely. Robert, and we appreciate all your promotions and things that you've been doing to help this fight grow because, you know, without you guys right now, our state, we don't have a lot of sponsorship money because people, you know, they don't know what the sport is if we've been gone so long. And we rely heavily on the fighters and to help us get the word out because our budgets are so small. And, you know, Robert has always been on Facebook, YouTube, having a good time cutting up, and people want to come see him fight. And, you know, I really appreciate that. I appreciate you always being an ambassador to the sport and being so durable for so many years to take so many fights. And, man, we're expecting big things out of our Alabama gang on this fight next Saturday night at Zamora Temple.
Well, I mean, welcome on that. And I would like to just say for the guys that's coming up under me, man, it's a good chance for these guys to showcase. Let's let these amateurs showcase. Let's let these pros who have been pulled around the world in 80 days, let's let these guys showcase, you know, represent their schools and let the public see, man, what they've been training so hard for. Let their families see why they've been away from the house so long and in the gyms and sweating and weight cutting and cardio and technique and you know, different tournaments you have to go to, the Nagas and the grappling tournament, the grapple quest, everything we got to do in order to, you know, enter the cage, man. It's time to let these guys show it, man. I mean, it's showtime, baby. You heard me say it 1,000 times, baby. Hey, it's showtime. Let's do it, man.
Let's do it. Well, we got a week. Less than a week.
Less than a week.
Less than a week. Robert, we appreciate it. Eddie, you still there?
I'm with you.
Well, I appreciate all these guys being on here. We're not leaving anybody out. We got Matt still on here.
Matt's still with us, and actually I've got a number that I don't have logged in, area code 931. Who have I got?
Randall.
Oh, this is Randall Ward. Randall is back in the day champion fighting Seth Burgett. Glad to have you on, Randall.
Thanks for having me. I
appreciate the opportunity to on the card.
Yeah,
I can
Randall
barely
has moved to Alabama. Is living down on the coast, down around Gulf Shores.
Yes, sir. Been having Joe Swords, Outlaw MMA. Been working on my wrestling. Been working off the back a lot, so he plans to put me there. Hopefully I can present it. We'll see how the fight goes. I definitely know it's going to be a show. I always like to put on a good show.
Robert has seen Randall fight. He was friends with Travis Hinton when you beat Travis.
Yeah. Well, yeah, reach out to Travis, man. He's a good dude, man. He's a good old school dude, man. But, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing you fight too, bro. You know, once you go in there and put on a show for these people, man, they come here and they're paying good money, you know, to see you do what you do, you know, so don't let them down.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'll put on a damn good show. I appreciate y'all giving me the opportunity, and I was very prepared because, you know, I plan on putting it on and making it a war. So, fight of the night. That's what I
Well, hey, everybody can go see now. His victory for the title at 170 is on one of our highlight reels on Strikehard MMA 1 on the YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, punch in Strikehard MMA #1, and you'll find these fights, and you can look up Randall Ward and Travis Hinton, and you can see what kind of damage that Randall can take, as well as he actually put Travis to sleep in that fight, and Travis had the upper hand in that fight for a while.
Yeah, he has a decent wrestling base, so that's one of my holes I had in my game. You know, my stand-up, my jiu-jitsu look good, but my wrestling, you know, I had a lot of holes in it. That's why I come down here and go sort of start training with Matt Hatbaker and Sean Applegate and working on my wrestling on my ground.
Well, that's gonna be a big fight for you. You know, Seth Burgett is a wrestler, a great wrestler, and he makes no bones about it. He said it on the show a minute ago that, you know, there's no surprises in what he's going to do. You know, stand up until he either feels like he's in trouble or he can't finish the fight, and then he's going to try to put you on the back of your head. So, you know, being prepared for that. Do what's that?
I said I'm trying to make you better.
Well, I can't wait to see this fight. We're glad to have you. Thanks for calling in, and we're glad to have you in Alabama.
I'm glad to be back. I fought Strikehard a bunch, and try to get back under familiar coaches, referees, and all like that. So I feel comfortable there. I feel right at home. I appreciate the fans, everybody supporting the sport.
Yeah, Randall, it's kind of hometown deal for you. You fought for us several times driving out of Tennessee. I remember sometimes you driving by yourself to come down here and fight on these cards, and it is kind of like a homecoming for you. I mean, there's so many of these guys that are personal friends of mine,
right,
that have always laid it on the line, and that's what has been a intangible that Strikehard has had, is that we have a lot of friends in this sport as well, a lot of these fighters, and our fan base has grown and become knowledgeable, and they cheer at the right times, they support you win or lose, and it's fun to fight here.
Well, do me a favor. Let me go and ask both of y'all real quick before we go any further. Robert, didn't give you a chance to. Shout-outs you want to send out for, before the fight this week?
Oh, man, I would like to shout out. It may be kind of long-winded, but I'm going to do it anyway. First of all, I'd like to give a shout-out to our GM, Pro Force MMA in Clanton, Alabama. That's Josh Herbert and Frankie D. I'd like to give a shout-out to them. Second of all, I'd like to give a shout-out to JD and Scott Boxing, the guys over there helping out with the stand-up. Really love those guys to death. All right, third, I'd like to give a shout-out to everybody who supported your dog back in the day. Let's run through the list real quick. Relentless MMA, Ride or Die MMA, Rush MMA, everybody else is down in Louisiana, all my traveling partners, y'all know who y'all are. If you listen to this broadcast right now, let's do it. You know, Saturday we getting it in. I'd like to give a shout out to my wife, Camila. You know, baby doll's helped me out a lot. She's been on the road with me for about 4 years now, and she's been in corners and everything else. I mean, she's just as bad as I am. And I'd like to also give a shout out to Chris Conley and the guys over there at Spartan. You know, he's been a real pillar, really, as far as coaches around this area. The Shrigley Camp, Chillingsburg MMA, wow, who else am I forgetting? My man Andy Roberts, me and him back in the day, ECI veterans, and David Elders and Matt Leavell. You know, me and him argue back and forth. I like to choke him sometimes. You know, he likes to run away from me when we're in the cage together. But and David Elders, man, you know, I had to, you know, petition, and I had to do my campaign for a few months, and I'm finally back fighting in Alabama. You know, I feel like I've just been elected governor or something like that, and it's time for me to show.
Be careful. You might end up being elected governor before it's over with. You keep it flying. You may get there. Randall, come on in. Shout out you'd like to send out.
Yes, sir. I'd like to shout out to my instructors back in Tennessee. I'm the district coach at TNT District, Woodford, Tennessee, Daniel Taylor, and all the guys there. And my karate instructor out of home with the martial arts, the heart, David Gabbert and the family there. And I'd like to thank Outlaw MMA for all their help down here in the last year on my wrestling. You know, Matt Halfacre and Sean and the family at gym. I appreciate what Strikehard giving me an opportunity, you know, to fight again, and glad to be back, and appreciate Seth calling me out, you know, he's also part of giving me the opportunity, so, and other than that, man, I like to thank God and the fans, you know, they put us in the position, so I appreciate everything. Strikehard, David Elder, Justin Sullivan, Matt Leavell, all of y'all. Thank you. I'll see you Saturday. Friday.
Thank you, Randall. Friday, that's right. Weigh-in.
Weigh-ins are on Friday.
That's right. And bringing up weigh-ins, I think Matt Leavell is on, and he's got all the sponsorship people we got to recognize.
Do me one quick favor, gentlemen. Let me go ahead and say, Robert, I want to thank you for taking the time to call in. Randall, thank you for taking the time to call in. Gentlemen, I do appreciate it.
Y'all be easy, man. Thank you for having me on, man.
It's a definite pleasure to have both of y'all on. Gentlemen, we'll see you this coming weekend.
All right, Billy Jackson, love you. Love you, Dickie.
See you, brother.
Gentlemen, it has been a crazy night. First off, I want to go ahead and bring in Matt Leavell. Matt, come on in. Welcome to be on Ringside.
Yeah, how you doing? Let me get something straight real quick now that Robert's off and he can't respond. I didn't run around that cage from him now. Now, when I see him on Saturday, I might change my story. But we always have a good time, man. I like him. I thought that was kind of funny. I had it on mute, and he said what he said. I just died out laughing. I had to make sure it stayed on mute so I didn't interrupt.
Guys, first off, I want to thank y'all for lining up all the fighters who have come on this evening. So many, and it's kind of everybody from Robert Thompson, Randall Ward, Ken DeBose, Andy Roberts, Seth Burgett, Keaton Wood, Christy Isbell, thank you for coming on, Walt Harris, Chris Connolly, Brian Lewis, Malcolm Hardman, and I hope I'm not missing anybody. I'm just running down the list that I've got directly in front of me right now, and I'm probably missing somebody. Gerald Carolbert, Eric Anders. Yeah. Ken DeBose, Eric Anders, gentlemen, to all of the fighters, thank you for coming on this evening. Like I said, I'm trying to read directly off the list directly in front of me, and I've got a couple of numbers that didn't transfer over, so I'm hoping that'll refresh in the next couple of seconds. First off, let's run this thing. You've got, as you said, you had 16 fights that you saw in front of you, 18 tentative, and there may be an additional fight added to the card, right?
Probably 18 would be the max. We've got 2 fights that are in limbo because of injuries right now, so I've got 16 hard fights on the card, 2 in limbo.
Okay. Let's run it real quick. Ticket prices.
$30 for general admission.
Okay.
And Matt, I believe you go ahead with the ticket prices, Matt.
All right, I can do that. Yeah, general admission is $30, but what I always suggest to people, we have a seating type called preferred seating. And that's $35, and I always tell people for $5 more, grab a preferred. It's in this particular venue, that's going to include all the seats in the balcony or a seat in row 2, 3, or 4. So that's a really good seat for $5 more. Now we also have first row.
To pull that up. And guess what, folks? They have a Facebook page. Also, to everybody who has been listening through tnt-radio.net, thank you very much for listening on that feed this evening. Thank you for listening all up and down the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. To everybody who has been in and out of the chat room this evening over on Ustream, I've been meaning to make reference, and I apologize for not doing it sooner. Alan Reeser, Bayou Buckeye 76, Daryl B, MMA Gal 1, Sweet Lee, another person who was just in the chat room a second ago, got out before I could get the name, and I apologize for not being able to get all the names as they've been coming in and out of the chat room. Thank you to everybody who has been listening. It's just been absolutely incredible to have everybody on this evening. And like I said, it has been two microphones. There's actually 4 in here, but I've got 2 at my direct disposal. But it's just been absolutely an electric night. More ways than one. And once again, David, Matt, I want to thank y'all for helping to set up all the fighter interviews, for coming in. David, while we've got a hot second, if you've got everything in front of you, do me a favor, run down the card one more quick time.
Oh my gosh. Let's see. Let me find this card. All right. I think we may be fixing to put this on Facebook, but we got fight Anthony Trenner and Sam McAlpine. That'll be in the 185 advanced division. Dallas Garson, Jay James in the advanced 145 division. Big Justin Reeser and Blake Johnson in the 215 division. Kiefer Hamrick, he's fresh back out of the military, just came back from boot camp. He's going to be fighting Billy Joe Bradshaw out of Spartan. It's going to be a big one at 145. Let's see. Oh, my goodness. Big David Jackson, heavyweight, fighting Nick Davis out of Montgomery. David's coming from Georgia Fight Club. JT from Auburn MMA fighting Omar Johnson, Frethenberg, and Keaton Woods at 145. Jamie Robertson in the advanced division at 145 fighting Benjamin England. It's going to be a big one there.
Eric Anders taking on Matt Go ahead.
Yeah, and then the Anthony Hoyt fight's one of the fights that is we have an injury in. I've got 2 replacements. We got to figure out which one we're going with that one. Tyler broke his foot the other night, so he's out. And then we have Grant Shanneman coming in from Army Combatants out of Virginia, fighting Bevon Lewis for the 170 title, and Malcolm Hardman fighting Cupcake Brian Lewis for the 205 title. Aaron Quaid and Gerald Colbert for the 125 title. Fred Weaver and Robert Thompson as the pro 185ers. Ken DeBose and Andy Roberts as a pro 170s. Seth Brigette and Randall Ward pro 170s. And the main event, Joshua Robertson and Walt Harris. I hope I got them all in there. I've got them on cards, so I could have accidentally missed somebody, but I think that's what we got. That's a huge card.
Actually, we didn't fully mention the Eric Anders fight. It was Eric Anders taking on Matt Castaneda.
Yeah, Eric and Matt. Oh my goodness, that's going to be a big one. Matt is coming from Eric's high school hometown, I guess, or home state in Texas. So he's driving in on Thursday, and so y'all help me welcome him from Texas in here to fight Eric.
This is going to be so much fun. And folks, I want you to think about this for a second. We've covered this many fights on this show, and you heard what the ticket prices are. And for those who listened last week, I'm going to get back on my box for about a hot second. Now, granted, the previous UFC pay-per-view actually had some really good fights on it, including the main event. I will never take that main event away because that's actually one I've watched about 6 times. But over the course of the last little while, the nationally televised promotions have been in a little bit of a quandary. Get your happy ass away from the TV, away from the big screens for a night. For my friends, for our friends in the Birmingham metropolitan area in the state of Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia, Northwest Florida, Mississippi, this is going to be an event worth the drive. The ticket price, very reasonable. The Zamora Shrine Temple is a great place for an event like this because there's virtually not a bad seat in the house. It is kind of hard to see everything from the men's room, but that's an entirely different animal. There's a wall in the way. But when you get an opportunity, because they're going to have novice amateurs, advanced amateurs, and professionals on this card, you get a chance to see fighters honing their skills, honing their craft, learning more and more. And this is going to be a very vital stepping stone for them, regardless of their classification, regardless of their weight. The stars of tomorrow, the superstars of tomorrow, start shining on events like this. And you got a number of fighters who are shining bright already who are going to be on this event. Let me take nothing away from anybody on this card. They've got some tremendously gifted and talented fighters coming in for this event. Check it out. This Saturday night, Birmingham, Alabama, the Zamora Shrine Temple on Ratliff Road, just off the Grants Mill Road exit off Interstate 459 in Birmingham. Easy to get to, easy to find. And Strikehard Productions for Strikehard 20. This is going to be an electric night for mixed martial arts fans all across the Southeast. I guarantee you, this is going to be worth the drive. It doesn't matter if you're going 10 minutes or across the state line. This is going to be fun. I want to say a very heartfelt thank you again to all the fighters who took the time, and especially for the patience, because you had some fighters who called in at the top of the segment and they waited an hour plus before we got a chance to come on and spend a few minutes with them. David, Matt, thank you both very much for taking the time to set everything up and to come on board with us. And I'm really looking forward to being able to see y'all this coming weekend. Like I said, I'll be back at 100% by Tuesday if my doctor has anything to say about it. If all else fails, I'll get a second opinion. But
hey, we appreciate you very much.
It's a pleasure. It's an honest pleasure because, like I said, I've said this off air and I'll say it on air. I have the humble factor of knowing that the show, the podcast edition of the show, the recorded version, is downloaded in over 40 countries, and we get a lot of downloads from the. We get a lot of listens to the live internet feed, the live internet radio feed, and a lot of replays and downloads all around the Southeast. And for all of the guests that we've had an opportunity to come on, one thing that I've put in our mission statement is we will always be true to our home territory. We'll always be homegrown more than anything else. And when we get an opportunity to find out about a show that is taking place in our home market, first and foremost, we stand with you, we run with you, and we stand behind you, and we'll be there, guaranteed. You have that from the entire cast of Beyond Ringside, guys.
Thank you. We need it.
Folks, we are going to head to the top of the hour break. I want to say once again, David Elder, Matt Leavell, thank you all. If there, is there anything else that y'all want to add before we cut to break?
Man, I want to thank all the fighters. I want to give a shout out to every one of them took a little piece of their night out to come on and promote with us. And if anybody's out there, if you're still listening, go on Facebook right now and promote this fight. Just, let people know where it's at. Send them to our Facebook page, Strikehard Facebook page. Send them to it.
Well, I'll tell you this as well. I want to thank you very much. I haven't told you that. Thank all the fighters and everybody listening. It's been pretty crazy watching our Facebook page. We've added on over 20 fans in the last 24 hours. And so this event is catching a lot of steam. A lot of people are excited about it. It is going to be a big one. And I just want to stress to everybody, show up early. Don't wait. With this many fights on the card, we're going to be getting started a little early, most likely. And you don't want to show up and have missed a couple fights. So go ahead and show up probably about, I would get in line at about 5:30 if it were me. The doors will open at 6, so I'd show up 5:30, 5:45, get in line, get ready to go.
Yeah, I have a feeling the doors are probably going to be opening a little bit sooner, so it wouldn't be a bad idea to catch that parking lot and tailgate a little bit. Guess you can tailgate at an MMA show.
Absolutely.
And there's also a bar there, kids. For those,
absolutely.
And for those of it, I do make that
and
reference.
Ring girls.
Hey.
And if enough people show up, we'll even dress David up.
No, never mind. Hey, you blew the whole segment.
Oh, damn.
Guys, thank you again for coming on board. Folks, we're going to take one more quick break, and we'll be back to put a wrap on everything right here on Beyond Ringside right after this. The word insane comes to mind, and I wouldn't have it any other way. 20 minutes after the top of the hour, Beyond Ringside Live Sunday night. Fast Eddie Layne. Looks like I'm taking this thing home solo. First off, thank you to my tag team partners, Mark Mabo Bowman, to the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis. I guess we make the unholy alliance as far as the Trinity goes. I don't know. We all have our own different, unique character aspects. To professional wrestling stars, ROH stars, I would like to say, but, you know, more than anything else, they are professional wrestling stars. Caprice Coleman, Cedric Alexander, thank you for coming on with us during our 6 o'clock hour tonight. To David Elder, Matt Leavell with Strikehard Productions. Wow. I had no idea when we were first talking about bringing some of the guys on. They said they were going to bring some of the guys on, and by God, they promised and they delivered, and it is appreciated. I can try to run down the list, and I know that I'm going to leave somebody out, and I apologize for that right off the bat. Eric Anders, Malcolm Hardiman, Brian Lewis, Chris Connolly, Keaton Wood, Walt Harris, Robert Thompson, Seth Burgett, Andy Roberts, Ken Dubose, Randall Ward, Gerald Colbert. Like I said, I know I'm going to leave somebody out, and I really don't mean to. I swear to God I don't. I thought I had everything logged in, and I think I missed a couple of people, and I'm very... Walt Harris, big ticket. How can I forget? I'll get killed for that. Like I said, it's been an electric night in more ways than one. It's been a tremendous evening. And Strikehard Productions, once again, this coming Saturday night. Sorry, the coughing's getting the best of me, and I'm about to wind things up. So please understand. I've been sick for the last couple of days, and I'm just barely hanging on, and I'm about to go back. I'm going to go do a triple shot of NyQuil, and I'm going to the doctor in the morning. And exactly. To Christy Isbell, thank you. Been a long time since we've had a chance to speak. Great to hear from you this evening. Vicki Jackson, thank you for helping to set everything up. Greatly appreciated. Absolutely tremendous. Words just cannot compare. Folks, Ustream didn't catch everything properly, so here's what I'm going to do. I am going to rebroadcast in 2 different segments the entire event from tonight. We will have the opening segment and the 6 o'clock hour with Caprice Coleman and Cedric Alexander broadcast tomorrow night. And then after that, we will rebroadcast the entire event with Matt, David, and everybody with Strikehard. Looking forward to doing both of those because it gives me a chance to go back and listen to whatever. I was able to hear 99% of it, but there was a couple of things that I missed. But, folks, mark your calendars, make your plans. And by the way, for the record, coming back over to Caprice and Cedric real quick. Ring of Honor, Final Battle 2012, Doomsday, will be on iPay-per-view on Sunday the 16th. It is going to have an early start, 2 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Central, live from the Manhattan Center in New York City. Wrestling fans, you want to catch that pay-per-view, guaranteed. And this coming Saturday night in Birmingham, mixed martial arts fans, I will see you at the Zamora Shrine Temple. Oh, Lord. I'm going to go ahead and play the music real quick. You can find Mark Bowman at MA_BO over on Twitter. You can find him on Facebook, the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, at Wicked Nemesis on Twitter. You can find him on Facebook. Also, be sure to join Wicked and myself, along with former NWA World Women's Champion Tasha Simone, Smart Rage, and a host of others. I believe our special guest this coming Wednesday night on the To Be Determined show on the TNT Radio Network. TNT-radio.net. Sorry, it's the cold medicine killing me again. This Wednesday night, 9 Eastern, 10 Central. Check us out on TNT-radio.net. Thank you to everybody who's been joining us all the way up and down the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. I appreciate everybody who's been listening live as well as listening on the replays. We'll see you at Beyond Ringside over on Twitter, Facebook.com/Beyond Ringside Live, and of course, BeyondRingside.com, up and fully functional. Until, well, I'll see you this coming Saturday night at the Zamora. I will be there. Matter of fact, I pretty much understood the entire cast is going to be there and then some. We're all looking forward to it. Wednesday night, 9 o'clock, TNT-radio.net. Yours truly, Wicked Nemesis, for the To Be Determined show. And next Sunday, 5:30 Central, 6:30 Eastern, right here for Beyond Ringside. Until next time, for Mark Mabo Bowman, for the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, this is Fast Eddie Layne saying until next time, we'll see you as we all go beyond ringside. Bye for now.